Hello, what's up guys? Welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to set up a dialog in HTML. So what if I told you you could create pop-ups in HTML natively without needing any extra JavaScript code? It sounds interesting, right? Let's get to know how it's done. So first, let's create a button that we use to trigger this. So the button should be show more, show dialog. So we're going to show dialog. So here, this button is going to help us trigger it. So we see when we click, that's nothing. So let's go on. So now to show the dialog, you have to get dialog and dialog. Then we have to get some text to show within it. So each one, let's say I am sorry, I am dialog. Yep. So let's see. See, still it's not showing. Yes. So for you to be able to show the dialog in HTML, you have to write some scripts code so that we can be able to show this dialog. So in order for us to do this, let's go on and fetch our dialog by using const dialog. So we're going to get it by document dot query selector. So we are going to do dialog, and also let's get our element, our close button. So close. Let's get a button. So we are going to get a button, sorry, button, yes. So once we've gotten the button, now let's call these and dialog dot add, sorry. So I'm going to add an event listener to the button. So button dot add event listener, and in this we are going to listen for clicks. So click, and when we click we want to have this function run and executed, and when this function is executed we want to close the want to show the dialog show. So we do show, and let's moment of truth, let's see if it works. So today it's working, of course. So to be able to close this dialog, you have to use some key elements which we have here called closed by. So closed by, and we can set it as none. So that means when we set it as none, it's going to close only when we click a dedicated button for close. So let's say we create a dedicated button called close inside our button. So let's give it a class of close. Sorry, class close. So close. So we're going to say close. So let's fetch that here. So let's fetch it close. So we are getting the class closed. Yep. So let's get it. So you say close btn. Yep. So now that one will go on to also add an event listener. But since we already have one, let's just copy and change this to close btn. So close btn, we want to do dialog dot close. So now since we set the close by to none, we are going to close this only if we click the close button. We can't close it with any other key except the close button. So but we can also set it to close by request. Close request. So a request, sorry, request. So we are closing by request, and what that will give us is when we can click our escape key to be able to close this, and that will only work when we have another toggling, this one that we call modal. So this is going to toggle this state, and when we use our escape key we can close it since we've used close by request. If we use none, we can't use any of these requests. So when we use I'm not clicking. Let me click outside it now. You see it's not in focus. I'm pressing escape and it will close the dialog. But if you want another way, you can also use any, and any will allow you to be able to close this dialog by clicking outside of it. So I'm going to click, and you see it's closed. So when I click, I can click outside of it and it's closed. And when we use the modal, we can only interact with the dialog and not any other thing behind the dialog. So Let's try to use our tab key and see we are only interacting with this close button here. We are not interacting with the show dialog behind it. So the content behind it are set to init and they are not shown on our screen. So this is the dialog. I will change this back to show. We will see that with the show, we are able to interact with the content behind it. So it depends on what you want to use. See, now we are able to interact with the show dialog. So it depends on what you want to use. If you want to use this, it's all dependent on you. So this is a way for you to be able to close, and you can use any of these show modal and show to toggle your dialog. Isn't this interesting? I hope you've learned today. Have a nice day, and we'll catch you up in the next episode. Bye bye.